Do you ever find yourself feeling utterly drained, even when you've had what should have been a restful night's sleep? Or perhaps you're battling that persistent brain fog, making simple concentration feel like an uphill struggle. You might just shrug it off, thinking, well, this is just part of getting older, isn't it? But what if I told you that these nagging issues, the ones you've been quietly enduring, might not be an inevitable consequence of aging at all? What if the real culprit is lurking where you least expect it, deep within your gut? Yes, that's right, your gut. It's far more than just a digestive tube. It's a complex command center that influences nearly every aspect of your well-being. And if it's out of balance, if it's become, shall we say, a toxic environment, it could be secretly undermining your energy, your mood, your immune defenses, and even your mental sharpness. Are you ready to find out if your gut is trying to send you an SOS? Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on 8 crucial signs that your gut might be in serious trouble. These are symptoms that many people, especially those of us navigating our senior years, often dismiss or simply misunderstand. But ignoring these whispers from your body could be silently robbing you of your vitality and the quality of life you deserve. This isn't about causing alarm. It's about fostering awareness. And more importantly, it's about shining a light on the path to feeling better. Because once you understand the messages your gut is desperately trying to send, you can take decisive steps to reclaim your health, potentially feeling more vibrant than you have in years. So, take a moment, get comfortable, and let's investigate what could be the missing piece in your personal health puzzle. You know, I've heard countless stories, perhaps like someone we'll call Arthur. Arthur, in his early 70s, always prided himself on staying active. But lately, an unshakable fatigue had settled in, a weariness that no amount of rest could fix. His joints ached, his focus wavered, and he just didn't feel like himself. He thought, this must be what aging feels like. But what if Arthur, and maybe you too, are overlooking a fundamental connection? What if the discomfort, the fog, the sheer exhaustion isn't just time marching on, but a cry for help from your internal world? Arthur, much like many, never really considered his digestion a major player in his overall health, despite occasional bloating or discomfort. It was just one of those things. But when he finally started to connect the dots, realizing that the gut, brain, immune system, and even joints are intricately linked, and made a few focused changes to support his gut health, the transformation was remarkable. He described it as getting his spark back. This isn't some far-fetched tale. It's a testament to the profound power of a healthy gut. So, if any of this resonates with you, if you've felt that unshakable weariness or those unexplained discomforts, I urge you to keep listening. Your gut might be trying to tell you something incredibly important. Sign number 1: relentless fatigue, even after a full night's sleep. Let's talk about that bone-deep tiredness, the kind that sleep just doesn't seem to touch. We all have days when we're tired, of course. But if you're consistently waking up feeling like you haven't slept at all, as if you're wading through treacle just to start your day, that's a significant warning sign. You might open your eyes in the morning and already feel that heavy sense of depletion. Does that sound familiar? This profound, persistent fatigue is one of the most common indicators of an imbalanced or toxic gut. But how could your digestion possibly be linked to such overwhelming tiredness? Well, think of it this way. Your digestive system is responsible for breaking down food and, crucially, absorbing the vital nutrients, the vitamins, minerals, and amino acids that fuel your cells. If your gut is inflamed, or if an army of unhelpful bacteria has taken up residence, this absorption process can be severely hampered. So, even if you're eating a wonderfully healthy diet, your body might be starved of the very building blocks it needs for energy. Over time, this can lead to what some call cellular fatigue. Your cells are, quite literally, running on empty. And there's another layer to this: your immune system. When your gut is in distress, your immune system can go into overdrive, constantly battling perceived threats. This relentless internal skirmish is incredibly draining, leaving you feeling physically and mentally exhausted. So, if you're perpetually tired, an extra coffee or afternoon naps just aren't cutting it, don't just blame your busy schedule or your age. Could it be your gut silently screaming for help? Remember, this kind of fatigue isn't just about feeling sleepy. It can manifest as a lack of motivation, irritability, or even a persistent low mood. If you're simply surviving each day instead of truly living it, it's time to consider if your gut is the hidden culprit. You deserve to feel energized, not just to function, but to thrive. Sign number 2: persistent bloating, gas, or digestive discomfort. Now let's address something many find a bit awkward to discuss: bloating and gas. But here's the unvarnished truth: frequent digestive upset isn't just an embarrassing inconvenience, it's a powerful signal that your gut is struggling. Have you ever finished a meal only to feel your stomach swell up like a balloon? That uncomfortable, tight sensation that makes you wish you could just disappear into loose clothing? Or perhaps you're plagued by unpredictable gas that seems to have a mind of its own. This isn't just normal, it's your body communicating. Your gut is telling you that something is amiss in its complex ecosystem. Within your digestive tract, trillions of bacteria reside. Some are beneficial, our allies in health, while others can be problematic if they gain the upper hand. When these less than friendly bacteria begin to dominate, they ferment the foods you eat in ways that produce excess gas and trigger inflammation along your gut lining. This imbalance, often called gut dysbiosis, makes digestion inefficient and uncomfortable. Think of it like an unruly party in your insides where the wrong guests are making all the noise and mess. Another potential troublemaker here is a condition you might have heard of: leaky gut. When the lining of your intestines becomes overly permeable or leaky, undigested food particles and toxins can escape into your bloodstream where they don't belong. This, understandably, triggers an immune response, leading not only to bloating and pain, but also to food sensitivities and potentially more widespread health issues down the line. So, if you're frequently experiencing bloating, especially after consuming certain foods like gluten-rich breads, dairy products, or heavily processed meals, it's time to listen closely. Is your gut trying to tell you it's overwhelmed? This isn't about feeling ashamed, it's about seeking solutions for healing. Your digestive system should be a source of nourishment, not a constant battlefield of discomfort. Sign number 3: brain fog and difficulty concentrating. Let's turn our attention to your mind. Do you ever find yourself walking into a room only to completely forget why you went in there? Or perhaps you struggle to recall familiar names, or your thinking just feels sluggish, as if you're trying to see through a persistent mental mist. This brain fog is more than a fleeting annoyance. For many, particularly as we get older, it can become a persistent and frustrating reality. But what if the root of this mental cloudiness isn't just in your head, but deeply connected to your gut? It might sound surprising, but scientists often refer to the gut as our second brain. And for good reason. There's an intricate network of nerves within your digestive system, known as the enteric nervous system, which is in constant communication with your brain via a critical pathway called the vagus nerve. When your gut is healthy and balanced, this communication flows smoothly, supporting mental clarity. But when your gut is inflamed or out of sorts, it sends distress signals up to your brain, and these signals can directly interfere with your ability to think clearly, focus, and recall information. And that's not all. Did you know that your gut is a major production site for serotonin, often dubbed the feel-good neurotransmitter? In fact, over 90% of your body's serotonin is produced there. Serotonin is crucial for regulating mood, sleep, and cognitive function. So, if your gut health is compromised, your serotonin production can be thrown off kilter, contributing not only to brain fog, but also potentially to feelings of anxiety, low mood, and disrupted sleep. Furthermore, toxins produced by an overgrowth of harmful bacteria in a damaged gut can sometimes cross the blood-brain barrier, a protective shield for your brain. When this barrier is breached, it can lead to inflammation in the brain itself, manifesting as that persistent fog, fatigue, and over time, even contributing to cognitive decline. If you've noticed a distinct decline in your mental sharpness, don't just chalk it up to aging. Could your gut be crying out for attention? The encouraging news is that as you begin to heal your gut, many people report that the mental fog starts to lift, memory sharpens, and life feels clearer again. Sign number 4. Overwhelming cravings for sugar or processed foods. Let's be honest for a moment about those cravings. Do you ever find yourself irresistibly drawn to sugary treats or processed snacks, even when you're not truly hungry? Perhaps it's that afternoon cookie that calls your name, or the late-night bowl of ice cream that feels almost impossible to resist. These intense cravings aren't necessarily a sign of weak willpower. More often, they're a direct message from an imbalanced gut. You see, your digestive system is home to a vast community of bacteria. Some of these are beneficial, helping you digest food and supporting your overall health. But others, particularly certain yeasts and unhelpful bacteria, absolutely thrive on sugar. When these sugar-loving microbes begin to outnumber your friendly bacteria, they can actually send signals to your brain, releasing chemicals that trigger powerful cravings for the very foods they need to multiply: sugars and refined carbohydrates. It becomes a vicious cycle. The more sugar you consume, the more these unhelpful microbes flourish, and the louder and more insistent their demands for sugar become. It can feel like an internal battle you just can't win. But the impact doesn't stop there. These unhealthy gut microbes can also wreak havoc on your blood sugar levels, leading to those dreaded energy crashes and spikes that leave you feeling jittery, then exhausted, and then, you guessed it, craving sugar all over again. This blood sugar roller coaster, driven by an imbalanced gut, contributes to inflammation, fatigue, mood swings, and can even increase your risk for more serious conditions over time. So, if you find yourself constantly battling sugar cravings, especially when you're stressed or tired, don't just blame a lack of discipline. Could it be that your gut microbiome is out of whack and crying out for a reset? The wonderful news is that as you begin to nourish your beneficial bacteria with fiber-rich vegetables, fermented foods, and perhaps targeted probiotics, those intense cravings often begin to subside. Your body starts to find its equilibrium, and you regain control. It's not about achieving perfection overnight, but about understanding what your cravings are truly signaling and responding with informed care. Sign number 5. Unexplained aches, pains, or widespread inflammation. Now let's touch upon something that many of us experience but often don't connect to our digestion: those mysterious aches and pains. If you've been dealing with joint stiffness, muscle soreness, or a general feeling of achiness that has no obvious cause, no recent injury, no overexertion, you might have wondered, is this just what happens when you get older? And while aging can bring some changes, sometimes these persistent pains aren't originating in your knees or your back, but from deep within your gut. This might come as a surprise, but a significant amount of chronic inflammation in the body can actually trace its roots back to an unhealthy digestive system. When your gut lining is damaged or your microbiome is severely imbalanced, it can trigger what's known as systemic inflammation. That is, inflammation that isn't confined to one area but spreads throughout your body, affecting your joints, tissues, and even, as we've discussed, your brain. Think of your gut as the foundation of a house. If that foundation develops cracks, the entire structure above it can become unstable. Your immune system can become confused, sometimes mistakenly attacking your body's own healthy tissues. This can lead to pain that seems to wander, to flare up without warning, and to resist simple solutions. People with inflammatory gut conditions often report symptoms that closely mimic conditions like arthritis or fibromyalgia. They feel sore, stiff, and chronically fatigued, often going from one specialist to another without finding clear answers. If your pain seems to come and go, shifts from one joint to another, or tends to worsen after eating certain meals, don't just assume it's inevitable wear and tear. Could it be your gut sending out a silent alarm in the form of widespread inflammation? The path to relief often begins with calming that internal fire. By identifying and removing trigger foods, actively supporting your beneficial gut bacteria, and providing your gut lining with the nutrients it needs to heal, you absolutely deserve to move with greater ease and comfort. And yes, even as the years advance, significant improvement is often possible. Sign number 6. Troublesome skin issues like rashes, eczema, or persistent dryness. Let's shift our focus to an organ that's on the outside, but often reflects what's happening deep inside: your skin. Our skin tells a story, doesn't it? It can reflect not only our age and our environment, but also the internal state of our health. And when your gut is struggling, your skin is frequently one of the first places to send out visible distress signals. Have you been grappling with unexplained rashes, persistent redness, unyielding dryness, or flare-ups of conditions like eczema or psoriasis? Perhaps you've noticed your skin becoming increasingly sensitive, reactive, or difficult to soothe, no matter what creams or lotions you try. These might not be just superficial skin problems. They could be clear indications that your gut is inflamed and that the delicate balance of your internal immune system has been disrupted. There's a powerful connection that researchers call the gut-skin axis. This means that the health of your microbiome, that bustling city of bacteria in your intestines, can directly influence the health and appearance of your skin. When harmful bacteria or yeasts gain too much control in your gut, or when your gut lining becomes compromised and leaky, your immune system can be thrown into a state of high alert. This can trigger allergic-type responses and manifest as inflammation on your skin. Conditions like rosacea, chronic eczema, and persistent itchy dryness often have roots in these gut imbalances. Many people spend fortunes on topical treatments, finding only temporary relief, never realizing that the true source of their skin woes lies in their diet, and their digestive health. Food sensitivities, often a consequence of a leaky gut, can also play a big role, as proteins from food escape into the bloodstream, confusing the immune system and leading to reactions like hives or breakouts. Here's the empowering part. When you begin to heal your gut, your skin often begins to heal too. You might notice fewer flare-ups, a softer texture, and a healthier glow that reflects your body's improved internal well-being. So, the next time your skin acts up, don't just reach for another cream. Ask yourself, what might my gut be trying to communicate? Sign number 7. Mood swings, lingering anxiety, or episodes of depression. Now let's talk about something deeply personal, your emotional landscape. Have you found your moods to be more erratic lately? Perhaps moments of anxiety that seem to come out of nowhere, or a persistent undercurrent of sadness that lingers even when, logically, life seems okay. These emotional shifts can be incredibly unsettling, especially if you've not typically struggled with your mental well-being. But what if I told you that your gut health could be a major, often overlooked player in how you feel emotionally? As we touched on earlier, your digestive system is a powerhouse for producing neurotransmitters. Remember serotonin? More than 90% of it is made in your gut, and it's vital for mood regulation, sleep, and feelings of contentment. Your gut also plays a role in producing dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with motivation and pleasure. When your gut is inflamed, leaky, or overrun by an imbalance of bacteria, it can severely disrupt the production and balance of these crucial mood-regulating chemicals. The result? You might find yourself feeling emotionally fragile, quick to irritation, more prone to anxiety, or weighed down by an unexplained sense of sadness or apathy. For many older adults, these feelings are often dismissed as just a part of aging or attributed solely to loneliness or life changes. And while those factors certainly can play a role, the biological foundation, the health of your gut, must not be ignored. An unhealthy gut also impacts the vagus nerve, that critical communication highway between your gut and your brain. When inflammation or harmful microbes in the gut trigger this pathway, it can lead to what scientists call a neuroinflammatory response in the brain, producing symptoms very similar to those of depression or anxiety. In essence, your brain is reacting to distress signals originating from your gut. This is why, for some individuals, traditional antidepressant medications may offer only limited relief, because they might be addressing the symptoms, but not the underlying gut-related cause. If your emotional state feels more turbulent than it used to, if stress seems to hit harder and last longer, or if your sense of joy feels muted, it's worth considering if your gut is influencing more than just your digestion. Healing your gut can, in many cases, lead to a gentler, more stable emotional state. Sign number 8. Getting sick more often or having a weakened immune response. Finally, let's address your body's defense system, your immunity. Do you feel like you're the first one to catch every cold or flu bug that goes around? Does it seem to take you much longer than it used to recover from even minor illnesses? Or do you just generally find yourself feeling under the weather more frequently than others around you? This could be one of the most significant signs that your gut health is compromised. Here's a truly astonishing fact. Over 70% of your immune system actually resides in your gut. Your digestive tract isn't just for processing food, it's a primary line of defense against invading viruses, harmful bacteria, and environmental toxins. Lining your gut are specialized immune cells that act like vigilant gatekeepers, constantly assessing what's a friend and what's a foe. When your gut is healthy and its microbial community is balanced, your immune system can respond swiftly and effectively to threats. However, when your gut is inflamed, when its lining is leaky, or when the balance of bacteria is skewed towards the unhelpful kinds, those crucial immune defenses can become confused and impaired. Harmful invaders might slip through the net more easily, while your body might struggle to absorb beneficial nutrients. The consequence? You become more vulnerable. Your body might start to overreact to harmless substances, leading to allergies or even autoimmune responses where the body mistakenly attacks itself. Or it might underreact, allowing common infections to take hold more easily and linger longer. Another indicator of a struggling gut immune connection is chronic, low-grade inflammation. If your body is constantly in a state of alert, trying to manage threats from a leaky gut or an imbalanced microbiome, it has fewer resources available to deal with new, acute dangers. This ongoing internal strain can lead to that persistent fatigue we talked about, poor wound healing, and can contribute to long-term tissue damage. If you've ever found yourself saying, "I used to bounce back so quickly, but now everything seems to knock me down for weeks," it's definitely time to look at the health of your gut. Supporting your gut health can powerfully bolster your immune response. So we've journeyed through 8 significant signs, subtle yet potent messages that your gut might be sending you. If even one of these resonated deeply, if a quiet voice inside you whispered, "Yes, that sounds like me," then I encourage you to pause, not with fear, but with a newfound awareness. Let's remember what your gut truly represents. It's not merely a digestive passage, it's a command center, a profound communicator, and a diligent protector. And when it's thrown off balance, so many other aspects of your health, your energy, your mental clarity, your skin, your joints, your very ability to fight off illness can begin to slowly, almost imperceptibly, unravel. But here is the truly empowering truth. Just as an imbalanced gut may have contributed to your discomfort, it also holds the incredible potential to lead you back to well-being. Healing is not only possible, it is profoundly impactful, and it is never, ever too late to start. You don't need to make drastic, overwhelming changes overnight. You can begin with small, manageable steps. Perhaps it's making simple shifts in what you eat, paying closer attention to how certain foods make you feel. Maybe it's drinking a little more water, incorporating gentle movement into your day, or mindfully reducing your sugar intake. Sometimes, even just slowing down when you eat, allowing your body the time it needs to do its job properly, can make a difference. Every positive choice you make, every small adjustment, sends a powerful message to your body. I am listening. I am on your side. And your body, in its innate wisdom, will respond. It always strives to return to a state of balance, of strength, of ease. Sometimes, it just needs a little consistent support and a little patience from you. If there's one crucial takeaway from our conversation today, let it be this: you are not broken. You are not too old to feel significantly better. Your symptoms are not just in your head, nor are they something you simply have to resign yourself to living with. Your body is incredibly wise, and your gut has likely been trying to communicate with you for some time. Now that you're more attuned to its language, you can begin the journey of healing from the inside out. Thank you for investing this time in your well-being today. If you found this information valuable, I warmly invite you to share it with someone you care about. Because knowledge, especially about our own bodies, is a precious gift. When we understand ourselves better, we invariably treat ourselves with more kindness and wisdom. You are not alone on this path. And here, we walk it together, seeking insights for a healthier, more vibrant life. Until next time, take good care of your gut. It just might be the key to taking care of everything else.